Good evening and welcome to the Look Finance SEQFC preview show with thanks to Vilic Law. Obviously tonight it's a little bit different with myself here, but I'm jumping in to help out for Darren, and this is the women's call, of course. We're looking at everything WMPL, BPL and Cap 1. Tonight, luckily, we're joined by Karyn Longbottom. How are you?
Good, thanks.
That's good. We got Costa as always. Costa, how are you, mate?
Good, buddy. How are you?
Yeah, good. And then, of course, we got Archie and Liz from Ipswich City. How are you?
Evening.
Cheers. Thanks for having us.
Pleasure as always, guys. Jumping in, of course, we might go straight in to have a look at the WMPL, obviously coming into the last rounds this weekend. Pretty interesting. I think the two big games that obviously stand out that we're looking at. Saturday, the first one kicking off at 5. Competition leaders Gold Coast United take on QAS. Bit of a stretch between the two teams, but I know, Archie, you were mentioning off the call, you were able to see a bit of a hit up between Gold Coast United and fellow title contenders Lions. Do you think this is a pretty open and shut case with Gold Coast United? Do you think they can wrap it up against QAS?
Given the history of looking at the table, I think Gold Coast United should get the job done. Although I thought Lions was actually the stronger team during the midweek catch-up. But given how strong Gold Coast United is and how much they wanted, although they lost 3-0, I still thought they worked really hard, and they're still a very top-notch team. And yeah, Lions are just the better of the day, so I think they'll get the job done. And Lions playing Mitchie, I believe.
Correct. 4 o'clock Sunday. So that works alongside the men's game, Mitchie versus Logan, which is another important one in another competition in the State League.
Yeah, Lions are just too strong. They're well drilled, well coached, they're fit, they move the ball perfectly. The off the runs plays are amazing, and they just get behind teams real easily. So I do see them getting up. But once again, Mitch is still a decent squad. Joe's a good coach, and they have good players. So there could be an upset there. So I think it's Gold Coast United's to lose, because Mitchie could pull something out and get a result against Lions, but that's just me.
Yeah, and I think, Karyn, obviously, you understand it quite well. I think we mentioned off the call, the mathematics to it. What's the scenario that it might come down to the wire? And I know the most controversial wins being most controversial rule so far this season's been most wins. Well, how does it work out? How do the numbers work out? Can you fill us in?
Sure. So essentially, if some chance QAS get up over Gold Coast and Lions beat Mitchelton, then they'll both have the same number of wins, which means the next point of call is the goal difference.
Yeah, so obviously Lions being that quite attacking team, I think they're 16 goals as we sit today, ahead of them already. So could make it very interesting for the end of the season for the WMPL. Other games, of course, looking out there, I think, unfortunately, it might be a good way to wrap up the season. But Moreton Bay, they travel up to Southwest, so that's 10th versus 11th. This is a bit of a different one compared to the other games. Do you think this will be a bit of pride? Obviously, Costa, we mentioned it. Do you think the girls from Moreton Bay might get a chance, might get some points on the board this year?
It hasn't been a great year for them. I know, speaking to Ben, the coach, he said the girls work hard, but realistically, when you've got up to 6-7 players backing up from the under-18s game, doesn't matter how good they are, they're already just exhausted, and it's been a long season. So, look, I kind of hope they can at least get a point or something, but it has been a long year, and I certainly feel for those girls and Ben.
Yeah, absolutely. You gotta obviously appreciate them and wanting to turn up to each battle and wanting to put it in, both obviously stretch between the 18s and the women's competition. So got to pay respect there for the team and the club. Obviously, the other games this week to wrap up the WMPL, the Gap will be taking on Capalaba, and then East will be taking on Logan, both Saturday night, and South with the bye. Moving on there, I think a bit more media aspect, and obviously quite a bit of expertise on this call tonight. The Brisbane Women's Premier League Premier Competition, as I said, bit of a mouthful, some of these competitions with the divisions for myself. Obviously pretty good. Ippy, obviously you were able to announce during the week that you've wrapped up wrapped up the competition. You've taken the premiership, and obviously both of you guys glowing with joy at the moment. Costa, obviously you're quite respectful in defeat. You know, you guys have the hit out this weekend. Is it going to be civil?
Yeah, it will. It will. Archie and I get on well, and I think there's a good mutual respect. Archie shaking his head. I think there's mutual respect between the two teams, and you know, as I've said, you know, we're struggling with numbers as a lot of clubs are. You know, who would have thought we'd be playing football this time of year? So, look, it's an opportunity for the game to get filmed. I'll have a few resis who will get a chance to play in front of a camera, in front of a good crowd, and Ipswich get a chance to be rewarded for being the best team in the comp this year. So I think it'll be a good day anyway. Yeah.
Archie, obviously yourself, quite a successful year. Congratulations to yourself and the squad. How do you feel it's gone? Has everything gone to plan? Have you been quite happy? Has there been any hiccups, or has it just been smooth sailing?
Oh, look, well, first up, thank you. Obviously with the whole COVID, everyone kind of suffered that way. So there was a bit of some bumps and hiccups in our preparation. So all that work to pretty much just chuck it away and start again was really difficult for everyone else. And I just want to thank the girls for the effort that they put in once we came back, and we kept our philosophy and the team model, and we played to our strengths. So all in all, I'm happy with the season. To only have just lost 2 games in the whole season is massive, yeah. And I think the girls deserve it. And look, it's been a tough competition. Like Coomera was very strong, and we knew we got one against them, they got one against us. We knew it just came down to whoever dropped that one game would make the difference. And yes, so congratulations to Coomera for the way they played.
Yeah, fantastic stuff. Obviously, mentioning Coomera, they're taking on Annalee. I think obviously both of you guys have had your sparring matches with them. I think that'll be a pretty open shut case on Saturday night. And then the final round for that part of the competition will be SEQFC taking on Penn Power. Before we move on to Cap 1, I just thought I might quiz you guys and see what your thoughts are. And do you think, obviously, the level of the competition this year has been fantastic and a great showcase? I mean, usually it's Brisbane, but with the inclusion of Coomera, it's a bit more south to travel at times. As FQ look to expand the women's competition in the State League, do you guys think you're going to be competitive if the opportunity comes up, obviously being pack leaders?
Yeah, definitely. I think if we were to get the license today, we have the team to go forward. I've been lucky to watch a few games of the NPL, and I think the squad that we have this year will definitely compete. And that goes for other teams in the league. So Coomera, Virginia, even Power, I reckon they could have performed well. I think it's good. I just hope that the right teams get the right competition. They get the licenses without saying too much. I think it's our turn now to have a crack, and I think we're ready. And I think Costa can say the same.
Yeah, Costa, obviously the same for yourself, mate. I mean, you've got the resume for it from your history with Annalee as well as what you've taken across to Virginia.
Yeah, we've obviously applied for the license. I think our application was very strong. We spent hundreds of hours working on it, and I think the club last time we applied, I don't think really hand on heart, I don't think we were ready, but I do think we are now. We've got a new clubhouse being built early next year. We've had upgrades to the lightings. The facilities have been holding the club back, but in terms of the team, if someone said, right, you've got to play a game tomorrow, the under 23s and seniors, I know we'd be able to field 2 strong teams. I'm not saying that we'd win NPL, definitely not, but I think we're realistic. We have a pathway for all our players, and I just hope Football Queensland will reward clubs that have a track record of developing female football. I don't want to probably say more than that, but I think that we are a candidate, and I hope Football Queensland see the same.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we can all agree with that, obviously, and especially the work that Virginia's doing, both on the pathways for junior football as well as women's football. Fantastic stuff coming out of the club. I know I was lucky enough to go out and watch my young nephew play in the SAP comp on the weekend, and great things from all aspects of the club, and really making a little mold for themselves to obviously develop and build from there. Karyn, yourself, you've been involved with some pretty big clubs in the WMPL. Do you get excited hearing some of the teams that are shortlisted and that have applied? Who would you like to see come up in the WMPL if you could fantasy book for 2021?
I'm going to be Switzerland here.
We both know. It's okay.
Look, I think there is some fantastic applications, and I think each one has merit in its own right in certain regards. So it will be interesting to see which criteria is used to actually choose those licenses, whether it's pedigree in women's football, whether it's facilities, what takes sort of precedence is going to be really interesting, because each one of those bids is so varied across those different things, and they all have their strengths.
Very diplomatic.
Thank you.
I think for myself, though, I wouldn't be disappointed to going out. I know both Virginia and Bullies have a fantastic atmosphere. I wouldn't mind seeing some big competition out there next year if they get the chance. And I think they'd be more than hosts for those competition and fixtures.
More than happy to see you on Sunday.
I'm torn. I think that may be the game. There's 2 other games, but I think that might be the one to see. At least we know roughly what's going to go down.
Oh, you never know.
Costa might have some things up his sleeve. It might be a party pooper.
He's very notorious for talking it down. I'm going to play Resi. I have big players, and then he pulls something out of his sleeve. So
is this really coming from the guy who was talking down his chances all year? Just won the premiership, and last time we played, you beat me 4-0. Is this the same guy?
Look, all I'm saying is it would not be here right now if you didn't win last week.
Yes,
so
thank you.
So really, it's you. You're the top dog in this.
Yeah, you're the star.
Can we have 2 underdogs in a game?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Battle of the underdogs.
Battle of the underdogs. The underdog sitting top.
Yeah.
Fantastic. From there, obviously, we'll look to the next tier down, looking at the Capital One Premier competition. Obviously, some other applications through here and some other familiar names. Olympic, similar to yourselves at Ipswich City Bulls, they've wrapped up the Cap One Premier competition. They take on North Brisbane. That's on Saturday. And then KPR take on Pine Hills. And then luckily, I think this is good, even though it's kind of a mid-table competition. There's a bit of a derby between Taringa and Toowong as well, wrapping up that competition. Is it interesting seeing these? I think, obviously we look, and myself usually on the men's side with the NPLW, some of the teams in this competition, it's obviously they got the facilities and that, but can they back it up? Is Olympic, do you think Olympic would be competitive in the WBPL next year if they go up, or if you guys clash, or do you think it'll be a shutout from your competition?
I reckon there would be competitive based on the resources that they have and the potential to attract the players, but
do they have the depth?
Yeah, the depth might be something else. But look, I'm not here to knock other teams' applications or their ability, but I just think based on their resources, maybe, but if they were in the Premier League this season, in the BWPL, I don't think they would have made top 6. I reckon it would have been very difficult for them. That's my way of looking at it anyway.
That's all I wanted to know. Do you think when you cross the white line, would you show them who's boss?
Yeah.
With fear of sounding too cocky, I reckon based on the results they've had against other teams that we've played against, I reckon we would have been quite comfortable against them.
Fair enough. It's I think next year's going to be an interesting landscape. We might stay away from that a little bit though.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, let's just wait till we've got decisions.
Well, wait. Everyone's nervous. I feel this is a very nervous call, and I know we're all sitting here with our hearts in our mouths, waiting to hear some announcements, whether it's this evening or tomorrow morning. It's going to be a restless night.
Another one.
All I know is Costa and I are very anxious right now. We're talking every day. Every time we talk, it's the same thing. You pretty much copy and paste what we've said 5 hours prior.
Yep.
And the conversation gets going. So.
And no work getting been done at work.
For me, that'd just be business as usual. I mean, I attend. I don't know if you can call what I do working.
I may have accidentally kicked the wrong tenant out today. Oh, well, you get that. My focus was somewhere else.
That's the thing. As long as we can enjoy the football, I think that's the most important message.
That's it.
Yep.
It's all about development of the players and the clubs and moving forward with the whole program in Queensland. I think we need to step it up a gear to keep up with the rest of Australia as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think you see some of the catchments around. I mean, I don't want to put the club down or discredit their achievements, but you have a look at the likes surrounding Bullies, of course. You've got your Western Pride, your Ipswich Knights. I think it's a fantastic achievement. And do you think Bullies now are that place setter in terms, at least the women's game, for football out west?
We are the biggest female program this side of Lions on the West End. Actually, just in the AGM tonight, just one moment, please. Let me refer to the AGM documentation. Our female players for the year, we had, it doesn't have a total of female players, but we had 9 only girls teams from under 11 to under 15, under 18s and 3 senior women. And, the numbers, and it's just growing. With the expressions of interest we've got for next year pre-NPL, if we were happen to get it, are still staggering. So
that's fantastic, and it's always great to hear that health in the game.
That's exactly right. I think the depth would be if we have a structure in place. If we get it, great. If we don't, then there's another structure ready to come in. Then we'll look forward to the upcoming year and the year after that of putting some higher level C League teams in and developing what we've got in our 13s, 14s, 15s, 16s now, ready for next year. If we happen to get the opportunity next year, if we don't get it this year. So, because I'm not sure how long they're giving those licenses out for. If there's any stipulations being put on current licensing though. Is there any stipulations going on current licensing though as well? So.
Well, the current licenses end, I believe, at the end of 2021, I believe.
The end of next year.
Yeah, so and then maybe it's the end of 2022, but I believe it might be the licenses won't be given out for as long, is what I've heard. It's going to be shorter licenses.
We're trying to position ourselves. If they said to us tomorrow, you're right to go, yes, we are, like Costa said, we can quite easily go, bang, we've got a top side, we've got a 23. 10s, 12s, you build it, they will come. We do have 10s, we do have 12, but I can guarantee you if we did it and we got it, those numbers would come in. We already have a very strong 11s through to 16s, and we have some 18 girls there as well. So we're ready to take the park whenever the time comes, and if we don't get it this year, well, let's just hope we can get some positive feedback from Football Queensland to what we can do right and set ourselves in good stead to fix the programs and get things in place. So next year, maybe we have that option. But I would hope to do it this year.
Fingers crossed for you. Costa, is it a similar story at Virginia? Have you, unfortunately, as I mentioned off the call, haven't had enough time to invest to look at the different levels. But is it similar for the development pathway through Virginia?
Yeah, we've got 14 all-girls teams. And the only reason we don't have more is because we've purposely chosen not to have more C League women's teams. We've decided to develop more of the junior side. And we added a City 2 team this year where the average age is 16. The girls, a bit of a learning curve for them. I think they finished 4th in the end.
Not bad.
Yeah, well, COVID hit them pretty hard. And we had one girl, two girls over 18 in the whole squad. We've got a couple of girls who turned 15 throughout the year as well. And then we've got 180 female players, 35 squirts females. We've got the numbers, and to be honest, the club's had those numbers or similar numbers for the last 6-7 years. So even when the club was only at 400 or 500 people, we still had 150 plus females. And we got invited to the under 12 girls SAP Carnival, and as a non-SAP club, we were really proud to be invited. We only got 48 hours notice, but we put together a team. We ended up winning 4 out of 6 games. And I know results are not a big deal at that age, and I get that. but it's a good indication for us that we're ready to go in 10s and 12s as well as the 23s and Opens. So we will see.
Karyn, yourself, obviously, you've been very successful as a coach, been at some great clubs, same with your playing career. Does it sound similar, obviously, to the likes of, say, East or Capalaba in the past?
Look, Capalaba was an interesting one because they had a really great senior program, but they didn't really have much underneath. And I think that's really kind of cost them, unfortunately. Whereas East's kind of built from the ground up, which really helps. So for me, in having success, and that's what I think Football Queensland are trying to achieve by having it be that they have to have SAP, is trying to make sure that the groundwork is there so you don't get the constant migration of players and you're not constantly chasing people and just basically building your own sustainability.
I actually think that's a brilliant idea, what they've done for the new clubs coming in, just needing to have the 10 and 12.
Yeah.
And then the top two. It's allowing the clubs to build from within and grow. Yeah. Fantastic. Full credit to Football Queensland for that one.
Absolutely. I know myself as a punter, this is a great age for women's sports. But for myself, I'm competitive, and I think football's the be-all and end-all at the end of the day. We all invest so much of our life into it. So I don't want to see us losing these young athletes to other codes, and to hear about the clubs having aspects like that and FQ pushing it, it's really promising, and it gets me excited for the next few years and the future ahead.
Yeah.
On that positive note, guys, I think we might call it a wrap and get ourselves ready for some excitement, whether it's off the field or on the field over the next weekend. Once again, I'd like to thank you all. Karyn, thank you. Costa, pleasure as always, mate.
Thanks, bud.
Once again, Archie, Liz, congratulations. Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers, guys.
Awesome. And I got to say thank you for tolerating me. Hopefully I don't bomb your ratings like I do with the NPL men's show, but I know you guys will make up for that for me, but luckily Darren will be back shortly.
I think I'll definitely watch this one than the other one.
It's because your hair's so good, mate. That'll be the new profile picture on everything. But thank you guys. Have a great night, and I'm sure I'll see you all shortly.
Thanks, mate.
Thanks.
Bye.